There are moments in life that stay with us longer than we expect. The conversation ends, the day moves on, and life continues. Yet something inside us keeps returning to that moment. And it's not because we're trying to hold on to it. Sometimes we'd much rather just let it go. Yet it still remains. For many years, I worked as an operating room nurse. I cared for people on some of the most important days of their lives. Many were very frightened, and some tried to hide it. Others couldn't. Before surgery, I'd often say something simple. I'm Jeannie, and as your OR nurse, I'll be your eyes, ears, and voice while you're asleep. And I take my job very seriously. Almost every time, I'd watch their shoulders soften, their breathing slow, and sometimes before they even realized it themselves. The fear wasn't gone, but something inside them knew they weren't facing it alone. Over the years in the OR, I kept seeing the same thing. The feelings people carried into surgery, they weren't always about the surgery. Sometimes the surgery awakened something much older. And that observation eventually changed the way I began to understand emotional healing. Beneath nearly every fear, there was a quieter question. Am I going to be okay? And beneath that, does someone care? I think that question follows many of us through life, not only in medical situations, but in relationships, in disappointments, in the moments when something affects us far more deeply than we expected. In these feelings that stay long after the moment has passed, I want you to think about something. Think about a feeling that's returned to you more than once. Not a thought, not a memory, a feeling. Maybe it's being overlooked by someone who really mattered to you, working as hard as you can and still feeling like it's not enough, feeling like you're somehow too much or never quite enough. You may have experienced that in more than one relationship with more than one person. And at some point, you may have asked yourself, why? Why does this keep finding me? When a feeling returns, we tend to look at, what did I do wrong? We examine our choices, our behaviors, and ourselves. But what if the feeling isn't returning to show us what we did wrong? What if it's returning because something inside it hasn't fully been understood yet? Here's what I came to believe. Our feelings aren't nearly as random as they seem. When we experience something painful, especially early in life, those feelings often stay with us longer than we realize. Not the memory exactly, the feeling. And sometimes that feeling shows up somewhere else, in tightness, in a heaviness in the chest, in the familiar ache that returns when something in the present touches something from the past. The feeling that returns today may not belong entirely to today. And when we focus only on what's in front of us, we miss the older pattern underneath. We address the surface. The older pattern stays untouched. I want to say something directly. The fact that feelings return, it doesn't mean you're weak, and it doesn't mean you haven't tried hard enough. It means the feeling is still holding something that hasn't been fully seen. In the operating room, Fear didn't leave because I explained what was about to happen. Fear softened when the person felt they were no longer alone in it. I think our feelings can work in much the same way. They don't resolve through analysis. They shift when they feel met and when someone finally sees what they've been living with. You may have spent years wondering, what's wrong with me? I'd like to offer a different question. What if nothing's wrong with you? What if the feelings simply have been waiting for the right kind of attention? Not the type that tries to fix it, the kind that stays with it long enough to hear what it's trying to say. What I've noticed, and this surprised me, is that the shift rarely looks the same as we expect. It arrives quietly before you're ready for it. The nervous system, it's not broken when a feeling comes up. It's organized. It built a pattern around that feeling a long, long time ago. A very careful, very faithful pattern designed to keep you safe. And in many cases, it's simply been running that pattern ever since. And it's not out of dysfunction, but because at some point, that's what survival looked like. Looking back, I think that's what the operating room was teaching me all along. I remember patients who came in braced for aloneness, and I stayed present, and their fears began to be okay. They weren't fully gone, but that's when I began to understand something. Our bodies, they don't only respond to fear, they can respond to safety too. And if painful experience helps shape the pattern, moments of safety can begin to reshape it. The feeling keeps returning, isn't waiting to be fixed. It's waiting to be met differently than it was the first time. And when that happens, the body begins to respond differently too. That's one of the reasons I believe healing is possible. Before we close today, I want to leave you with something to take with you into your week. Think of a feeling that's returned to you recently, and don't try to fix it. Don't try to explain it. Just place one hand on your chest and let yourself acknowledge it. Say quietly or simply feel, I see you. I'm not running from you anymore. You don't have to make it go away. Just let it know it doesn't have to carry this by itself anymore. Now, take one slow breath in with me. And as you exhale, let a soft, low hum move through you. Ma. Try that again. Inhale and hum. Ma. One more time. Inhale and hum. Ma. That's all. Your body doesn't need to solve this today. It just needs to know you're no longer looking away. If something keeps returning, it may not be asking you to fight it. It may simply be asking not to be left alone anymore. Next week, we'll go deeper. We're going to look at our relationships and what they reveal about us that we can't always see on our own. The mirror we don't always recognize. We're standing right in front of. I'm Jeanne Lovespots. Your body, it already knows how to heal. It's just waiting for you to listen.